What it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X's? It's your boy Gage. I'm here with Jokes,
Yo, yo.
and you are now tuned in to Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today,
Today,
oh man, today we got to talk about the elephant in the room, which is, man, let's just call it Xbox's premier, chief, longest running franchise making its way over to PlayStation. We absolutely have to talk about that, right?
yes, we do.
Um, yeah, that's the big fish in the little pond tonight. Um, Before we do that, I want to make sure you all know that you can look out for us over there on Patreon. If you can, by all means, jump over there and support us. It certainly helps keep everything running. And having said that, let's go ahead and run the 619 Hall of Fame.
Yes, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, and Kermit Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Indeed, we do. Just a little quick something. Hey, Candace. Yeah, we have Extra Life coming next week. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll be streaming for about 9 hours each day, possibly a little longer, depends on how things go. We have some. Wait, I have some things planned for hitting my goals. When last I spoke to Jokes didn't have anything planned. Jokes, did that change?
Nope, still got to get mine together.
It's a little late, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's a little late. Did you already eat all the pumpkin spice stuff you had? Is that what happened?
No, it's still in the house. Pumpkin spice ramen should be on. I think it's going to make that list.
Nobody cares if you eat pumpkin spice ramen. That's not like hot or devastating.
Yeah, that's an early goal.
It's not like
that's an early goal. Still could be disgusting though. Either way,
you gotta give them something. You know what I mean? Worth getting to the early goals. You know what I mean? So you can start pushing your way towards the later goals. You failed last year. You didn't even make it halfway through all your.
Nope. I didn't get
hot
through half. I
sauce.
still at the bottom half of the hot sauces.
Terrible, dog. You got
Should check the expiration dates.
you got to gain ground, bro. You got some making up to do. You know what I'm saying? For those of you who are unaware, K-Pop Demon Hunters is coming back to theaters this weekend for sing-alongs. You know what I'm saying? And that is finna be in there singing along this weekend. Ought to be a good time. Now, haven't got that out of the way. Jokes,
Yo,
Master Chief is coming to PlayStation. Run that trailer. Let's run that in the background. We don't need the audio. Let's just run that. Look, this is not a thing that we haven't discussed in some manner in the past, right?
Mhm.
Like, what? I almost said Xbox, but what Microsoft has really been doing, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, like we've seen them moving the franchises they have that really have been doing well over the last decade over the PlayStation and seen them like dominate on PlayStation. Which tells me that there's something to what Xbox has in terms of their one-time exclusive franchises. Now, Gears didn't move the needle the way like Forza Horizon did. Certainly doesn't do what like Minecraft does.
Yeah.
And without, I don't know, throwing in like the Activision stuff that they've gone, like, we're not counting Call of Duty. I'm talking about the things that were exclusive. We kind of saw this coming.
Yep.
Now, to some extent, I felt like we were going to get Master Chief Collection.
Agreed.
Which kind of would make sense, but look, I guess if you're gonna build it from the ground up, this is the way to do it. Ma said, only one yo jokes.
Yeah, I guess just one yo this time.
all you had in you. What do you think this means overall, jokes?
I think this is like Microsoft has been pretty upfront about saying that keeping certain titles, exclusive to just the one console at this point, it's like it's not feasible anymore. And like we've seen companies like Square who has said that after trying to do the Avengers and that didn't do so well, and some other titles keeping them exclusive on consoles. So for all intents and purposes, I don't want to say that the console wars are over, but at this stage in game, it's kind of like you got to go to, like, we've used this motto for years. You got to go to where the people are, because by all means, Halo is a well-known title, but there's people out there that are not just going to buy the Xbox, especially if they've been with their PlayStation for years, to buy Xbox just to come over and play the one title. There are people that will do it, but not necessarily.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think that at these prices, there are people who would do that. A single title just isn't even close to being enough to move the needle. Now, I think that I'd say the console wars have been over. The console wars ended like really last generation, right? However, the streaming wars have just begun. And the reality of it is, at some point during last generation, probably relatively early on, it was known that as a company like Microsoft, like Xbox was not going to be able to gain ground in the console space.
Definitely.
And here's why. In the last 20 to 25 years, there has been about zero growth in the console market. Zero growth. So the people who have consoles and play on console are still the same people who played on console. Console growth ended with the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 generation. Outside of that, and some people are not gonna like this, but I want to make it very clear. Not only has Nintendo technically been out of the race since the Wii, because they're not even playing in the same field, Nintendo has not released a console since the Wii U. The last time Nintendo released a console and it failed, they never did a console again. The Switch is not a console. The Switch 2 is not a console. They are handheld devices that you are able to hook up to a TV. That's it. They're not consoles. The console sits under the television, and that's where you play it. That's what a console is. That is not what the Switch is. So the console wars, Nintendo backed out of that a long time ago and decided they were going to do something different. We're not even playing in that space anymore. We can't compete from a technology standpoint. We can compete from an IP standpoint, and we can compete from a price standpoint. That's what we have. That's what we're going with. We're not doing another console. They combined technically two markets they had. They always ran the handheld market.
Yeah.
The Wii U was an attempt to do both in one. Have a console and have a tablet. Can't go so far with it. We need to figure that out. They figure it out, and now you have it. Like, look, man, console war's been over. So at this point, I think since Nintendo has decided we're not doing consoles anymore, we're doing handhelds.
Mm-hmm.
And Microsoft has decided we're going to try being on everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Console war is over. The only console technically that really exists is the PlayStation. And even though Xbox will have another box, right? There's a lot of talk this past week with Sarah Bond doing interviews saying the next Xbox will be like a very premium item, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means clearly it's going to be in like the $1,000 range, and it will be a lot more like a PC, and maybe it moves the needle, you know what I mean, in that way. But I also think, in all truth, man, if Sony isn't very careful, they could end up in a position where if their console itself is too expensive, people may not do that.
Valid.
And that's kind of where we are. If from nowhere else in the U.S., a tariff standpoint, it could be that things are very different here in the U.S. than they end up being in Europe or in South America or in any of the other Asian countries, just based on what pricing, you know what I mean, ends up being like. And that could have a very changing, telling, and detrimental effect on really the entire industry. Halo going to PlayStation reminds me that Nintendo failed miserably in South America. That in South America, Sega, they still make Genesis and Master System consoles in Brazil. That's a real thing. And the reason why that happened was because of tariffs. Nintendo refused to pay the additional costs, and they refused to build a facility to make consoles there, and they refused to license out to other people there specifically to build consoles for them, where Sega did. And so Sega, in that space, Sonic is everything.
Yeah.
And Mario is nothing. Mario is like non-existent to them. And that's a very different world from what the majority of the rest of us experienced. J. Robert Dean says Halo to PlayStation is like when Favre went to the Vikings. I mean, kind of. The difference is that in this case, right, it would be like Favre going to the Vikings, but like Green Bay still being able to make money off of Favre while he was there. You know what I mean? Also, hey, hi. It is different. Microsoft stands to make a lot more money from Master Chief and Halo being on PlayStation and on PC, right, as a whole, than they do from it being in one place only. And it would not have been in one place if they chose to keep it exclusive. It would really just mean not allowing it to be on a Nintendo console and not allowing it to be on PlayStation, because they were going to put it on PC. They were going to put it on Amazon, anything, TV, like, you know what I mean? They were going to put it on LGs and Samsungs and everything else. So keeping it from that market honestly just doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, having looked at the trailer, seen what it looks like, I think that there are some very important things at play here. One, Halo hasn't been great for a very long time. We've tried, but the truth is,
it's not the same.
the greatest of Halos was probably Halo 2, for real. Like Halo 2 multiplayer was probably really it. And even though a lot of people love Halo 3, and there's a lot of love for Reach.
Mm-hmm.
ODST isn't the same. There've been a lot of Halo games, but none of them have really moved the needle like the original 2, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So, Halo Campaign Evolved. Just campaign. No multiplayer. Is that a mistake, Jokes?
I don't think so. You know, like don't get me wrong. Like the multiplayer is a grand aspect to where Halo comes in at. But I think for those that haven't had the experience, especially I was on PlayStation, of playing the story to get to know, Master Chief and some of the other characters, I think is a plus. So I do think eventually they will do some form of a multiplayer. It's just, I'm guessing with just rebuilding the OG game, they didn't really take the focus to make the multiplayer experience with it. So I think we said this once before, that Halo could eventually go to that same route, kind of almost like what Call of Duty did, and make the campaign and make the multiplayer, two separate entities. So I think eventually they may end up releasing the multiplayer as its own separate standalone thing. But I think for this go around, they want to kind of go after that co-op gameplay, because PlayStation is known for making these awesome single player type of campaigns that you can play through and go through. But with Halo, changes it up a little bit, because now you'll be able to run a full campaign with up to four people in total. And because of that, they've made little minor changes that to not necessarily to the PlayStation people that may have never played it, but when you tell someone, hey, we added a 4th spot on the Warthog, so your 4th in the group will never have to get that individual thing to keep up with everybody. Those little small changes.
The original campaign didn't have 4 players anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It was only 2 players co-op through the campaign. Now, you still had the issue in multiplayer when you were playing. If you were squatted up, everybody couldn't get on a Warthog. You know what I mean? If you guys were, but like, they also didn't really fix that in other campaigns going forward. So I think this is really a kind of like a practice shot, right? Mm-hmm. They rebranded the name of the studio from 343 to Halo Studios, which I think kind of makes sense. They have moved away from the Slipstream engine into Unreal Engine 5, which again makes sense. If you're gonna practice making Halo look and feel, most importantly, feel like Halo, take this engine and allow them to make it feel like Halo within this engine. What's up, Heather?
That just popped up for me.
And truthfully, I think it's a mistake not having multiplayer if they're charging a full $70 for this.
Now, if they're doing that,
they haven't announced price.
Yeah.
That's a little tricky. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that like it's a remake from the ground up. 70 beans.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Anybody who is an Xbox person will pay the $70. They just will. Even though they have Master Chief Collection, even though they can go back and play the old one, they have the remastered version. They will pay the $70 to play this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very large contingency of people on PlayStation that were Xbox people. They were at least 360 people, and then they switched over, right? Dom said F PlayStation. That's right. I'm a hater. Listen, kind of me too. But here's the thing. There are people who haven't touched a Halo since 360.
Mm-hmm.
They jumped from 360 to PS4, from PS4 to PS5, and they remember at least the remake, right? Dom said, I said what I said. I'm not mad at you for it. So there's a large contingency of people, for the nostalgic purposes alone, who will want to jump in and play this looking the way they feel like it used to look when they played it the first time. You know what I mean? Or, since they jumped into. And does it rev things up for them to do a Halo 2? They are adding 3 new missions, which is strange. They also got all of the original voice actors to come back and redo all of their original lines.
That's dope. That's a lot, but that's dope.
That's not an inexpensive endeavor. But you could have put the multiplayer in there, dog. That's all I'm saying. Because here's the thing, as like Halo's campaign is a thing, and replaying the campaign, especially being able to replay it in 4 players on Legendary, skulls on,
all the skulls active,
is a completely different experience. You know what I mean? So it does have a ton of replay value. And I'll be honest, maybe it's smart not to try to get in the ring when you already have a multiplayer Halo that is doing okay as it is. But, and when I say okay, I mean like very okay, like okay. But when you have Call of Duty doing what it's doing, and Fortnite doing what it's doing, and Roblox doing what it's doing, and like, again, I think we looked at this stat, at the end of last year, but the majority of games that get the most play are 6 years old or older. People are not really spending a lot of time in multiplayer games that are new. Not like they are in games that were already old, that people have the time and strength and so forth already in. Yeah, Cuddy. The birthday skulls, the alternate commentary skulls. And look, they said they added a bunch more of other new skulls. And I'm just like, well, that just means we got work to do. And they added in weapons that you didn't have in the first one. Did y'all see that? Even GameStop got jokes about this. Listen, GameStop been on one. GameStop kind of taking a note out of Wendy's playbook.
And it's just going hard.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. Energy Sword is there. That wasn't in the original. At least you couldn't pick them up. You know what I mean? There's multiple weapons that the Covenant can use that you couldn't use. And now they're usable. It changes the dynamic of, you know what I'm saying, a lot of things. So, I mean, look. Like it or not, I'm in. Full cross-play, full cross-save. That play anywhere. They might as well just call it Xbox Play Everywhere.
At this point.
Anyway.
At this point.
Right? Is this going to revitalize the franchise, Joe? Yikes. I don't know if
I don't know if revitalize is the word, but I do think this is going to be a plus, especially just like you said, in moving into Unreal Engine 5 and wanting to test the waters on making it look better, potentially, being much smoother with gameplay. I think this is where we start to bridge into whatever the next iteration or whatever that next chapter of Halo that we're going to explore to it. I don't think this is going to be the title to do it, but I do think this is that stepping stone that's going to put us towards whatever the next title is going to be.
So I have a couple of thoughts on this. One is that they could do this, never do Halo 2 again, and just the next game they put out be a completely different story. Just because they're adding 3 new missions to this campaign. Now, I don't know where they fall in the campaign, but the fact they're adding 3 new missions to the campaign means that they could just be like, you know what?
we're gonna change
We're gonna
things
do
up.
things different. We're not Halo 2 isn't our next thing, right? Also, Halo 2 is never completed. So if you got Halo 2 and you played Halo 2 through to the end, they ran out of time while they were making Halo 2 and they put it out and it was incomplete. So where the story ended in Halo 2 is not where the story was supposed to end. So they could do this, do Halo 2, and actually complete the story
Finish it the way
and
it's
then
supposed.
move forward. But you gotta be real. Like, you can't undo the story that exists
Right.
already in all of the, like, there's so much additional lore around Halo and the franchise, and you can't do what they did with the show and just be
That was
like,
what
we just gonna kind of no. So there's a lot of options, right? Like, they could just be like, we're gonna do something totally new. They could be totally new. They can say we're gonna do Halo 2, and then we're gonna complete the story, and then we'll move on to something else. Halo 4 is really where they lost it. They could go back up through 3 and really kind of retouch it. I would look, to me, if they're gonna do this, right? If they're gonna go that route and they're gonna redo 2, fix the ending of 2, and do 3, then once they do 3, by the time they get there, they should really be more along the lines of like what the Resident Evil remakes kind of were like. Like, you really kind of have to put everything into it. And if they do that, then there's a possibility that they see that. Like, truthfully, there's also the possibility that they take a cue from the Capcom playbook of like, all right, we're going to do a remake of one of our old ones, revitalize the franchise, and then we're also going to do a new one. After we put the new one out, then we do another remake of one of our old ones. Dom said they're going to put in a chapter with real-time events so Master Chief can get some. They better not. Although, you know, I do wonder, like, when they do a multiplayer, what do they do with skins? Like, what kind of stuff now that they have? Is there going to be a Master Chief Astrobot skin? They do a Master Chief in the all white and blue. You know what I mean? With the black highlights.
Kratos armor. That'd be an interesting little
Kratos
swerve.
armor. They could do. You know, the possibilities really are endless. They might be a little corny, but I really feel like at the end of the day, it's probably the smartest move. And now that, like, we have like official word that what is happening behind the scenes at Xbox is being caused by the chief financial officers at Microsoft, like Amy Hood, being like, y'all gotta go get this money.
Yeah.
Y'all are costing way more money than y'all are making. And so y'all gotta go get this money. So figure it out. So, you know, price hikes on games. Again, they tried to go $80 on games and had to walk that back. That, I'm sure, was part of that. Like, all right, well, let's figure out how we're gonna get more money. Price hike on Game Pass. Obviously, another move to do that. Consistent price hikes on the consoles. You can blame the tariffs all you want. But, like, you know, I'm not saying they're not really a thing, but at the end of the day, you got to go get this money, and you have to figure out how you're
going
to do it and make it make sense, right? And here's what I really think has cost Microsoft and Xbox in the long run. Halo is a part of this. The key differentiators, truthfully, between what Xbox was and what PlayStation was has more or less always resided in multiplayer. Always. For a good portion of that time, original Xbox, Xbox 360, a lot of that multiplayer was being able to get together and play multiplayer games together, right? Dom said I would have to rethink my life choices if they put skins from PlayStation titles. Why? You don't have to play with them. You just get to kill the people who are rocking them. You know what I mean?
That's it.
You know what I mean? You just gotta be good and go get them. Microsoft and Xbox have been able to make really good money and sell really well in their multiplayer franchises like a Halo, like a Gears of War, because everybody needed a copy, right? You need to buy one. I need to buy one. Even if we're going to play online, you need to buy one. I need to buy one. Need to buy one. For a long time, even if you were doing that, couch co-op was still a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
OG Xbox people were still bringing their Xboxes and hooking them up together, which meant not only do you need multiple Xboxes and multiple discs, but you need multiple controllers. Like, you need to buy a bunch of controllers because multiplayer is the thing. And so a lot of what allowed them to truly see success in those titles was, well, these aren't games you play by yourself. These are games everybody needs to have, and then you pay for online, and then you get online and you play together, and there's a lot of money in that, right? And there's a lot of money in everybody having multiple controllers, and there's a lot of money in, you know what I mean? Like, those things. So much of that has gone away because so much of what multiplayer gaming has turned into has started in a free-to-play arena. It's free to play. You can play it wherever you want to play it. And that means there isn't the same money to be made in the initial sale to begin with, right? And then people don't get together to play games anymore. So you don't need 5 controllers.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it just, not in one location. You know what I mean? Everybody needs a box and they need one. Maybe a second one. And for a lot of people, unless you just are one of those people who's like, oh, that controller looks really cool, I need the red one. That's you, Jokes.
All me.
Right? I need the clear one. I need the blue. Like, if you're not that person, then once you have a controller, unless it stops working on you, you never buy it. You might have a second controller in case somebody else wants to play. But for most people, that doesn't happen. And so you're not even making the money in the hardware on the back end because of the sale of games or because the games themselves are multiplayer. And so that eats a dent in what you have. What's up, Zay? And so now it makes more sense for you to be able to make money if your bread and butter really is multiplayer titles. The best way to have the most players is to put them everywhere. That's the only way to do it. You can't force people into the box. You can't force people into the controllers. They just, because they have so many alternatives that cost them nothing. If I got a good time waiting for me and it costs me nothing,
I'm taking that nothing.
What might even be a little bit of a better good time, but it costs me something. And not only does it cost me that, but if I really want to have a good time doing it, everybody else needs to pay too. You know what I'm saying? It's much harder to deal with that. So I think that there is a possibility that having Halo on PlayStation could revitalize the franchise if they are very careful about making sure that people. Here's the thing. If they just said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do a Halo multiplayer or a Halo Battle Royale, and let's just put that on everything. The difference between doing that and putting that on PlayStation versus doing this and putting it on PlayStation first is, even if the characters look cool and or you like the weapons, you don't care about the characters. And so, like, if you're a PlayStation person and you don't care about Master Chief doesn't have a name. Truthfully, he's the worst protagonist of all video game protagonists. There is a personality, but Halo started out as something that was like, it's a first person shooter. And for most people, it's a dude in a helmet with no face. And so for many people, it was their very first FPS. Maybe they played GoldenEye. But in GoldenEye, you knew you were James Bond.
Yep. You knew
In this,
each one of those
you're
characters.
Master Chief, right? Nobody calls him John. Like, that's just whatever, right? Spartan 117, Master Chief. Master Chief could be anybody. So you could take the storyline that was happening and care about Cortana. Now it doesn't matter. Like, no, if you do a multiplayer, there is no Cortana. There's no reason to care about that. So that changes everything. Tom said his name is Robert Paulson. Here's what I think. I think it's possible that the franchise sees a significant lift when this is PlayStation. I think that the numbers on PlayStation are going to be ridiculous. And here's part of why. If right now you go on YouTube and you look for the trailer for Halo Campaign Evolved, it's, of course, IGN has it, Game Trailers has it, GameSpot has it, Xbox has it, the Halo YouTube channel has it, the PlayStation YouTube channel has it. The PlayStation YouTube channel is way outpacing everybody else in terms of it's at like almost 900K views, where like on the Xbox channel it's like 50.
Whew.
Like, there's a lot of interest, and some of it is people just being like, it's not true, dog. Let me see. And then you watch it, it has a little PlayStation, like
PlayStation on there.
And
you're like, oh, this is real. This is happening.
People are like, I can't believe it, but it doesn't matter because it means that people are checking for it. And that means when it drops, bro, the idea of Halo coming out and running better on a PlayStation 5 Pro than it possibly can on an Xbox anything, it's kind of crazy. But it might just be the world we live in.
Possibly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a crazy possibility.
On the multiplayer note, Jokes, Battlefield today decided to release their Battle Royale. Did you see this?
I saw it and I didn't watch it because I had a feeling we were going to watch it here.
Well, of course we are. Let's just take a look. While you're getting that together, Dom said, I agree. I believe there will be a revitalizing of the game. Will it bring a better sequel? Who knows? But it won't run better on PlayStation. I don't know, dog.
I don't know. PS5 dog. Pro may push that to the limit.
Yeah, PS5 Pro hasn't really been anything, but Battlefield, bro. Battlefield Studios is awesome.
Approaching the drop zone. Expect heavy resistance as you enter the redacted sector. Consider everyone down there a threat. Good hunting.
I mean,
I like that.
oh, it's squads? I know they paid
Oh, they paid a lot of money.
and we're gonna get a copyright. I don't think right. Oh man. You see my golf cart, dog?
Ain't hit him with the golf.
I'm not gonna hold you, boy, but it's fucking really low.
Oh, I'm just holding the game, so.
Oh, did you not know it was free?
No, I knew it was free, but available now I did not know.
I swear I literally just said they decided to release their Battle Royale today. Literally just said that. Hey, that joint is completely available. Don't get caught up, Jokes. I know how you do. Don't get caught
I
up.
don't know. I will definitely give it a try just because it's free. Like I've never been a Battlefield person. But this I will absolutely give it an opportunity. Like I play Warzone. I like Warzone. I prefer Call of Duty's multiplayer than Warzone. Maybe this will at least get me into the Battlefield realm. I don't know.
I'll be honest, bro.
I'll let that download.
I shouldn't do this. I think I hate the way Call of Duty feels. I think Battlefield feels better to play than Call of Duty, but that joint's not getting my hard drive space.
Yeah, I'm not looking to see how much space that's gonna take.
I don't know, dog. But pay attention to the show and stop playing around on your Xbox.
No, I'm about to download that, John. I'm gonna let it
you
download.
Don't need it. You ain't gonna play. You don't have time. You don't have time.
89 gigs.
Yeah, absolutely not, dog. Absolutely not. Here's the thing. Battlefield has been struggling for quite some time. I don't know. Is it too late? Is Battlefield doing a Battle Royale at this point? Is it too late? Look, Battle Royale was a big deal almost 10 years ago, bro. Like, PUBG was 10 years ago. Fortnite's 6-7 years old now. Stole a win right out from under PUBG. Yes, it's different, right? You have the destructibility and obviously a certain level of realism that comes with it that's very different from what Fortnite does, and even a certain level of realism that's different from what PUBG does. But I don't know, man. Is it too late?
I don't know. Like if they can do it well, because like some of these other battle royals have tried to come to play and have failed and have had to shut down.
Correct.
Maybe if they can, if they can try to compete in that space for those people maybe that were Battlefield fans, but when Warzone came out, they didn't have a choice but to go and play like Warzone. But maybe with this will shift some of those people over to it. It's just like you said, it just comes down to how the game plays, how smooth it is in comparison to it. I don't think it's too late for them to get into the realm. It's got to be, they have to execute this really well.
But what does that mean? What part of the execute, like, what do they have to do to pull people away? What do they have to execute well in order to pull people away from the franchises that they have already been playing for years and already have hundreds of hours and dollars, right? Even on free to play, there's these dollars that exist in buying skins, in battle passes, and you know what I mean? Like, does it just have better?
It's got to be the gameplay. The gameplay has got to do something different. Like you said, like sometimes Battlefield plays a lot smoother in comparison to Call of Duty. I feel like that's going to be the only make or break for them is if they can make this thing play much cleaner, much smoother. Don't get me wrong, Warzone is good, but they're going to have to figure out what they can do a little bit different.
So, I wouldn't say that Battlefield is smoother than Call of Duty. I think that Battlefield is snappier than Call of Duty is very floaty to me in terms of the movement and the shooting mechanics, the aim down sight mechanics, like all of that is very, very floaty to me. And it always has been. Like even before it became what it is, it's always been kind of like that. I prefer Battlefield as far as that's concerned. And that makes Battlefield feel a little more visceral. And personally, it adds a level of realism that I prefer compared to Call of Duty. And when I say that, I'm talking about Battlefield in terms of the mechanics feels more like Destiny to me than Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty is very just kind of like your camera's like this, where like what Bungie did with the original Halo, but also is so baked into the DNA of it. It's the only reason why I would ever go back to Destiny is because Destiny feels so good to play in terms of shooting. The shooter mechanics and the way that their engine is built, it feels so good. It's so snappy. Everything feels right. The shotguns feel right. The missile launchers feel right. The lasers, like everything feels right. Just the way that the gun kicks, the mechanics of it, the movement, again, aiming down sights, all of it feels. I don't personally think anybody has done it better than Bungie, period. I don't think anybody does it better than Bungie. That's for me personally in terms of what it feels like to play the game. But Battlefield is probably the closest to it, like in terms of being in line and what, you know what I mean, how that feels. Call of Duty feels more like Borderlands. Borderlands is much floatier, and it's just like stuff is just kind of going everywhere. Dom said they're gonna feel like they have heft, the recoil, everything. Agreed. Like the mechanics, the sounds in Call of Duty are A1. But the feeling, the mechanics, the recoil, like, yeah, that kickback, all of that, I have always found to be better in Battlefield. And again, I don't think anybody has done it better than Bungie. I just don't think anybody's done it better than Bungie. If Bungie turned around and was like, you know what, dog, we just doing a regular war shooter. No lasers, no whatever, I'd be like, bro.
All over it.
Sign me up. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Cause they do it with guns that aren't real. They've been doing it with, like, I mean, again, like, not that a battle rifle doesn't have in Halo doesn't have like some real life mechanics to it, but like, bro, the Needler is one of the best feeling weapons ever made. Bro, that joint, the way that joint just and like speeds up as it, and then like even feeling like the explosions of the, bro, they nailed it. They nailed it. It just is, it's perfect. Nothing feels like that. Not Overwatch. Like,
yeah, no, that's completely
Fortnite. Yeah. Nothing feels like that. And I think that's why I don't really like any other shooters. I don't like Overwatch. I don't want to do none of that. But Bungie, man, listen. If Microsoft could hire Bungie just to do Halo multiplayer, I would lose my mind. If they look, they already selling Halo on PlayStation. Sony owns Bungie. Just go to the news and be like, look,
let's do this partnership. Hey, listen, we want you to do this once again. Just
look, bro. It'll be over, bro.
Anniversary partnership. It's like, you know, whichever one they decide to put on, be like, hey, look, Bungie, we need you back to do this anniversary game for us, or this anniversary multiplayer. Let's do this the only way that you guys know how to do it best.
Come on, let's get with it. Come work that magic. You know what I'm saying? All right, so look, on a terrible note, Amazon They didn't really announce. It broke technically yesterday, but like really hit today. Amazon was doing a bunch of layoffs, like 14,000 corporate jobs, right? And that it was going to hit their gaming sector very heavily. Marcus said the Magic left the building. 14,000 corporate jobs, jokes.
That's insane.
On the way to 30K. And it is heavily impacting their games specifically. Now, here's where things are a little strange for me, jokes.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Amazon possibly being in the running to pick up WB, possibly pick up WB Games, right? Where they seem like they just kind of want to get out. And you know what I need you to do? Go on YouTube real quick, look up. So last week, I think it was last week, Amazon put out a new game. It's a Snoop Dogg game. It is a lawyer game, and like Snoop Dogg is the judge. And it's like a completely AI game, dog. Just look the joint up. You'll see what I'm talking about. And apparently that joint is working. They have decided
Courtroom Chaos.
Courtroom Chaos with Snoop Dogg, bruh. Put it on the screen, jokes. Put it on the screen.
Oh man.
Dom said I heard New World already shut down.
It did. Or they're gonna take it offline next year at some point.
Yeah. It's a wrap. And again, people liked it.
Yo, is that what I think it is? FU baby!
Wait, let me get in here.
Court's now in session, you dig?
Make it about food or something with the dog. I got it.
All you gotta do is throw in an objection.
Your Honor, I opened the fridge and the cake was gone.
Make it the birthday cake.
The birthday cake.
A birthday burglary. Seen this one before. Defense, what you gotta say about this?
No way. I went straight to my room. No kitchen detours.
Hold up. Sounds like my dog over here got something to say.
Objection.
Nah, overruled. Now sit down. My furry friend here is saying that's his birthday cake.
Wait, what did I eat?
That was doggy cake.
Let's see what the court artist drew up. I ain't gonna lie, them shoes smell like kibble cake.
Your Honor, I rest my case.
Guilty. And shout out to the lil homie. Y'all made this too easy. Who next? Courtroom Chaos starring Snoop Dogg. Well, you freestyle the cases and I drop the aces. Play it on Luna.
Bro, I want you to listen to what my man said at the end of the joint. What did he say?
What did he say?
Play it on Luna. Bro, listen. John said, yeah, I saw the Court Chaos game on the Luna section on my TV. Bro, they have doubled down on Amazon Luna. They have doubled down on AI. They literally said, we will continue to release. No, not Extra Life, Zayna. You can do it. That joint probably would be fire, though. But, like, they're going to double down on casual and AI games. So, you freestyle the case. You just make it up. Hey, so-and-so stole my block. And this AI version of Snoop Dogg just like, no, dog. Put my dog. Like, that is the... Listen, this is what it's come to. It is working. It is selling. People are playing this joint. And they literally said that the AI stuff they're implementing is working so well that they just don't need all these corporate positions anymore. Like, they're just able to, like...
It's crazy. It's...
Get them out of here, dog. Courtroom Chaos. Jokes. They did say Crystal Dynamics is still working on a Tomb Raider game. But I don't know what that means.
May not even see that joint ever come to fruition.
I mean, jokes, are you interested in a new Tomb Raider game? They got a new Tomb Raider. Is it a movie or a show that, you know, Sophie Turner is playing Lara Croft? I think she just posted something. I saw a lot of people talking about her abs or something. Her having like Lara Croft abs or something like that. I think there's a lot of potential in Tomb Raider as a franchise, even if it's not necessarily as a game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily need another Tomb Raider game. But I think a lot of what they have done wrong with Tomb Raider is that Tomb Raider should sort of be more like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where it's just like, there's the tomb I want, and I have to go through these things in order to get to that tomb and successfully get the thing out of the tomb that I'm trying to get out of the tomb, and that should be the end of the game. And then when they do another one, it's just a different
person,
different puzzles and a different thing you're trying to get to, instead of trying to make it like it's
one
the next
big whole
series of thing, and she's like growing into a different person and learn. Nah, man, get that out of here. She just Lara with the double Glocks. You know what I'm saying? Going in. I mean, come on, dog. She been shooting dinosaurs since the first game. So it really doesn't matter. Like, we don't have to oversell it, dog. She been shooting magic stuff because, you know, late 90s video games, dog. So I don't know, man. It's a strange thing to see companies like Netflix lean so heavily into the streaming and the streaming games, and you just get all these games you can play as part of the subscription that you already have. Right? And Luna is kind of leaning in that same direction, right? Amazon's just like, look, you already have Amazon Prime, you get Twitch. We're not quite ready to get rid of that yet. But all of this trying to get into the AAA game space, where really it's very difficult to play, and Microsoft owns everything, and everything else is on the only console that really exists anymore. How do you play in that space? Well, you do it on the devices that everybody already has, that they already have a subscription to. And you're just adding something in with that subscription and finding ways to take that money and push it in that space. And that is the space that like Microsoft/Xbox is really looking to play in. Right? And until, you know, the upside and downside of it is a subscription for Amazon Prime is like $135 a year, which is a lot less. You get a lot more technically, and that's a lot less than what Xbox is charging you just for Game Pass. It's less than what Netflix is charging you. It's less than what HBO Max is charging you. It's less than what Disney Plus /Hulu/ESPN is charging you. Truthfully, Amazon is the best deal in streaming overall, even if Game Pass is the best deal in game streaming, because of the caliber of games that you can get, quote unquote, day one, blah, 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 you know, with it. If you're competing, if you're PlayStation and you're having to compete with Luna and Netflix, and Luna doesn't run on PlayStation, but Netflix does. The games don't run on PlayStation, but I bet they will. They will. You know, it's that landscape is changing so quickly. Man, 14,000 jobs is a lot of jobs. That's a lot of people.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of knowledge. You know what I mean? And in the grand scheme of things, it could be really bad for the game industry. Dom said when Amazon, you can buy anything. They aren't streaming pretty much. Correct. You can just, because Amazon also, if you have Prime, you can also do HBO through it. You can do Peacock through it. You
any
can
other
do it all in one place. So the other thing that they have going for them is that all of the other services, you can just log into Amazon Prime and then use your other services within their ecosystem, which is literally what Microsoft is trying to do by putting out this most recent handheld and being like, oh, well, you can access your Steam games and you can access your Battle.net games and you can access your Xbox games. And it's all in one place, but it's got an Xbox branding on it. It's the same principle, right? There's a part of me that thinks PlayStation might be fine being the only one that's not playing in that space because it will make them different. But I don't know that it can last for but so long because I don't know that kids care. I literally discussed with my youngest earlier today. I was like, do you still want your Xbox? She was like, yeah. And I was like, all right, but why? She was like, I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know, why wouldn't you? She was like, well, she's like, I haven't hooked it up since I went and stayed in the hotel. Do you know when she stayed in the hotel? Her birthday. That was your birthday. She hasn't had her Xbox hooked up since like July, right? So I was like,
wow.
You know, and it wasn't like let me get it. It was just I was just asking. And she was like, well, yeah, I still want it. She was like, but I don't really have any games. And I was like, yeah, but what games do you want? She was like, I don't know. I was like, the games that you play, you can play on you play Sims, you can play on Xbox, but you play it on your computer. And you play Fortnite, which you play on Switch, you can play on the TV, you play on your phone, you don't need the Xbox to do that. You play Roblox, play it on the computer. You can play it on the Xbox, but you don't need it. So like, what games do you want to play that you need a console to be able to play?
Right.
I don't know. And I was like, well, that's why.
That's the whole point right there.
But that's less of a thing about Xbox and more of a thing about just console games as a whole. Because if you own a PlayStation, it'd be exactly the same thing. There's no reason necessarily to hook it up if you don't have to. Because technically, everything else that she would have used the Xbox for is already built into her TV, including being able to play.
I'll say play the Xbox games right there.
I'm just saying. So like that to me could make PlayStation very niche and make it very like this is the thing you get if you really just want to play something off of a specific box, not have to stream it, not have whatever. But like, dog, to be honest with you, I'm not gonna hold you jokes. How long do you think it will take before TVs just have hard drives in them?
It's crazy enough that they don't already. It's really crazy. Not as far as for the software to run on there, but just for you to load, whether it's, you put your videos and stuff on a drive so you can just pop it in there, load it, let it sit there. It's crazy that they don't already have it.
Jokes. When I tell you right now, TVs are going to have very large hard drives in them. It will be the thing that begins to drive the price of TVs up because they're not needing a box and being able to stream, having access to Game Pass, but being able to download the games to the hard drive that's in the TV. Or how long do you think before you're able to just hook up an external?
Technically, you can hook up an external.
You can play directly off of them, dog. It's not. It is coming, bro. It's coming. There's the processing power, whatever being what it is.
Yeah.
You figure a laptop, a halfway decent laptop for $600 to $800. TVs have come down so much that like a 50-inch TV could be $250.
Right. And still be 4K.
If you could pay, that's not get a console and pay that amount to have a TV that had a processor in it.
Yep.
I'm just saying, dog. And look, I know there's a lot to it. TVs are super thin. Consoles have the big fan and all that kind of stuff in them. But bro, if you can do it in a handheld,
they can figure that out. You got more than enough space to play around inside of that TV frame. It's like the motherboard that's in most TVs are already super small. It's just like,
well, here's the thing. If you look at what's happening in the game in the handheld landscape with gaming, right? A lot of it is, and even with what they're talking about with like the next versions of consoles, there's only so much more they can do to improve graphics, so to speak, right? They can do ray tracing to make the lighting more realistic. They can, you know what I mean? But what's realistic about Fortnite? It's the biggest game in the world. What's realistic about it? What's the next biggest game? Minecraft. What's realistic about it?
Damn.
Right? So for the people who are looking for the realism, I'm not saying it can't be done, but that's what the AI is really doing, right? That's one of the big things about PlayStation 5 Pro, PSSR, right? It's what NVIDIA is doing with their FSR, like being able to take an image that's not 4K and up-res it and double scan line so that it looks like it's 4K. And realistically, for how long, especially in what we did for so long, how long have we been saying people can't tell the difference? Like
forever. Like since like even before like when 720 first came out, it was like, oh, this don't look amazing. Can't even really see it. And it just kept going the same way. Clearly there's a difference now, but
yeah. I know that on a smaller screen, 4K 30 is, you know, an up-res 4K 30, but people are happy with 720 to 1080 running 60 frames is fine on a smaller screen. But if the AI can upscale it to 4K at 30 or 4K at 60, most people will be just fine. Just fine. And to be honest with you, that's where I see the innovation of TVs going, if for no other reason than because the consoles are going away. And here's the problem that makes for television. Television is already losing to cell phones. So if you add another item that's in somebody's hand that is a distraction from television, then television is already losing again. So if television wants to keep people in front of the TV using the TV, they need something connected to it. They don't have cable anymore to do that. Right? They do have streaming services which are there, you know what I mean, to help do that. So what else is now streaming? It's games. You know what I mean? And that, I think, is probably what we're looking at, is either a TV that can run it or a TV that has a small box that does. Like, bro, what size is like a Mac Mini?
The box itself, what, like, that joint's not even like 5 inches wide.
Bro, it's like the same size as like an Apple TV. But like 4 or 5 times as powerful. Ellis said, why do I need a TV when I have VR? Because you will walk into your TV or your wall wearing your VR. So unless you have VR stairs, little walking treads my man made at Disney, I don't know, bro. I mean, again, 100-inch TV is cute and all, but you're talking about AR more than you're talking about VR, because you need to be able to see around you. You know what I'm saying? And look, it's not like I'm not sitting right next to it, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the Xbox joint is in here. Like, I got it. I understand. I'm with it. You don't, but people don't want to wear it, and they want to be able to share experiences, and that's why you need a TV. Unless everybody's wearing a VR headset.
Yeah.
That's why you need a TV. Because when you're wearing your headset, your children, who you also need to be able to see, sir, you know what I'm saying, will need to be able to watch something. And that's why you'll need a TV. They'll have tablets. They'll have, you know what I mean? They still got to watch something. You need to watch what they're watching. That's part of the problem. I know what you're saying. I know you mean 100-inch TV in VR in your virtual home. Like I said, 100-inch TV in the VR with Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? Ready to go. I get it. What I'm saying is, in AR, so you can see your surroundings and sit down and watch TV on a 100-inch screen. If you want to feel like you're in a theater, you could do that, and you could game on it if the processor is strong enough for you to be able to do it. But to be honest, there's still a lot of people who just aren't going to put that thing on their head. I don't care how light it gets. They watching books West African style. I mean, isn't that what cinema has always been? Is watching books, technically. Yeah, man. I just think, look, that's probably where we're headed, right? Like, I think that the innovations that we'll see in televisions and in the most minute of set-top boxes will be that they're powerful enough with AI and compute power and smaller chips to be able to just hook up something like that and just run it. And you'll just have access to all of your, again, your Game Pass app, and everything will run, and you'll have a hard drive in it that you can download everything to. Like, I got a terabyte that just connects to my phone. Like, it's not like it ain't hard.
Yeah, super small now.
How fast is it? How fast does it read? How fast does it write? How quickly all the stuff off of it? Like, all of that matters. Like, I'm not saying that there aren't things to get figured out, but at the end of the day, that's where I feel like we're headed. I just don't think that the boxes, again, Nintendo's not playing that game.
They're just staying in their own lane. They got what they want, and they're gonna stay in that lane.
Nintendo hasn't made a console since the Wii U. Set-top box. You don't get out of here. We the handheld kings. That's what Nintendo said.
That's what it is.
They are so deep in the handheld game, non-console game. They are putting out Virtual Boys for you to connect to the joint they sold you. Like, that's where they are, dog. That's what they're doing. Like, it don't even console war. That's crazy. Jokes, I added a trailer for something. I need you to grab that last trailer I put in, right? Because either, why didn't you tell me about this? Or, how come you didn't know about this?
Listen, I knew about it on PC. I didn't know they were going to bring it to. I didn't know they were going to bring it to Game Pass.
It just got announced like today or yesterday. They had an ID and Xbox showcase, and there was a lot of cool stuff. A lot might be pushing it. There was some cool stuff. When I saw this joint, Jokes, you're in the trailer. Nah, you gotta put the audio back up.
Wait,
look at you, Jokes.
Dog, why am I?
We made this.
Loading the shot. It's on. Yeah.
Terramon, Joke.
Terramon. My card empire. Oh,
Look at
no.
these funky people.
No, they funky in this.
Look at you, Jokes.
That's me.
If they put a hat and some glasses on that dude, that is you, bro.
And they graded too,
bro.
Hey, no, you can spray the people. Hey, yo, I'm kicking you out my shop. Like, if you in here smelling.
No, you not, though. You trying to make that money. You gonna keep some in there. You gonna get some spray deodorant on the day. Go. PCG Card Shop Simulator, dog. Coming to Game Pass. Anywhere, Joke. Listen to me, Joke. Hey, Jokes, if I see in this joint playing Trading Card Simulator, dog, it's gonna be a problem, Joe. I already know this is a problem for you. You didn't tell me about this, Jokes.
Listen, I didn't know the Xbox was getting it. It's been on PC now, probably.
It's like a year old.
Yeah, for a minute now. And I didn't want to download it for Steam and play it on there. But now that it's coming to Game Pass.
Hey, Jokes, you don't need this in your life, bro. Yeah, Ellis folks are simulating jobs. That's like, you know what?
That's not a new concept.
Simulators.
I was about to say,
man,
Power Wash Simulator. Hey,
man.
Listen, that crime scene,
cleanup simulator. That joke's crazy. That Power Wash Simulator is everything, though, dog. That's like the best joint. We had a really good time playing that joint at the last Extra Life, bro. Speaking of Extra Life, one more time, Extra Life, not this weekend, next weekend, 7th, 8th, 9th, 3 days of us playing games for charity for the children.
Nah, that would need to have been out like 15 years ago.
Listen, now there will probably be a thief trying to get out that we'll just clothesline. I miss those days. Yeah. Extra Life. Don't interrupt me again, jokes. I gotta get through this. Extra Life next week, 7th, 8th, and 9th. 3 days of us playing games for charity, Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. Please tune in, hang out with us, donate, watch us do things that no one should subject themselves to for the kiddos. You know what I mean? Let's raise some money. On Saturday specifically, we are dedicating a 4-hour block to playing some of Sin's favorite games, titles that are the kinds of things that just like he would be the only one who would really want to play them. And so we're going to dedicate a block specifically to spending some time playing games that he would have just loved to be playing. So if you can't tune in any other time, tune in Saturday. We'll get you all the times. We have a schedule. I guess I can tell you the schedule. Let's check this off. And all right. So Saturday from 1. It's weird. It's technically 1 to 6. We're going to spend 2 hours playing Sword Art Online, which was one of Sin's favorite animes. And he liked the game. So we're going to jump in and play Sword Art Online from 1 to 3. From 3 to 4, we're taking a bit of a break. We'll be in and be chatting and stuff like that, but that's for us to take a break so we can eat and that kind of thing. And then from 4 to 6, we're going to play One Piece Pirate Warriors. So we'll be jumping in and doing that. So really Saturday from 1 to 6, we'll be dedicating that block of time specifically to playing stuff in remembrance of Sin and stuff that he really loved. And truthfully, we'll probably do that every year. Friday, we're getting started at 12. So we're running 12 to 9 Saturday. On Friday, Saturday 11 to 8, and Sunday 10 to 7. We have a pretty good run of games lined up. Jokes really likes Power Rangers, so we're gonna play Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. That is the first game up on Friday, starting at 12. We'll run that from 12 to 2. Then we're gonna play Rainbow Six Siege X from 2 to 4. Take a break from 4 to 5. Path of Exile 2, we're running from 5 to 7, and then Helldivers 2 from 7 to 9. Saturday, there is something called the Capcom Beat 'em Up Collection. It has a bunch of stuff in it, Final Fight, and all kinds of stuff like that. We're doing that from 11 to 1. Then again, we'll do that block from 1 to 6, where we'll play the game specifically for Sin, and then we'll close out the day playing Ready or Not from 6 to 8. And I can tell you now, we are not ready for Ready or Not. Just gonna make it very clear. And then Sunday from 10 to 7. So we're gonna start out with Grand Theft. We thought about not playing Grand Theft, and look, here's the thing: it could still change. But at this point, it's tradition because we've been doing Extra Life. This will technically be year 10, and we have played Grand Theft every year,
every single year.
And so it's kind of like, well, if we don't, what are we doing? But there is a possibility it could get a swap. We'll see. But right now, Grand Theft is up first on Sunday from 10 to 12. From 12 to 2, there's a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game called Splintered Fate. It's not a regular beat 'em up. It's like a top-down, kind of like a strategy type roguelike. So that's cool. So we're going to do that from 12 to 2, break from 2 to 3, From 3 to 5, we're playing Tumblestone, Zayna. And then from 5 to 7, Borderlands 4. So we're going to close out with Borderlands 4 on Sunday evening. Again, feel free to tune in at any time during any of it. We know that times are really hard for a lot of people right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our folks work for the government. We have a lot of folks that are furloughed. Some still have to work, and are not getting paid. So we get it. But if you can donate, we'd love for you to be able to donate. If you can't, then we'd love for you to be able to share. Jokes, if you could grab that link and throw the link up for everybody for Extra Life. This link will allow you to go in and join the team if you want to join. Like if you would like to play games as a member of the team, do your own stream and kind of get people to donate. Everything that's going into the pot helps. If you can share it so that other people have an opportunity, or you can also, make donations there. When times are hard for everyone, they are still just as hard, if not harder, for those who are sick and who are in need of those other things. So, anything we can do and any assistance we can give, we'll be more than grateful for. So, having said that, if you haven't done so already, Jokes and I, for the Loading Stacks Movie Club, had a discussion about Corpse Bride. It might be divisive. You probably should check that out. It is up on Patreon. It is up on YouTube. It is. People are viewing it. I'm not going. Some people might be upset when it's over. But all I'm gonna say, check that out. For my wrestling folks, tomorrow is the first time in our new time slot. The Finisher podcast is going live on Wednesdays now. Every other Wednesday at 10 a.m. Tomorrow is the first day for that. So please keep your eyes peeled for that to hit tomorrow morning. And outside of that, Jokes, I think we're done for the night.
Sounds good to me.
Let's just, before we shut it down, let's make sure. Let's see. Man says she's ready. Dom is excited. Extra Life. Dom said, I'm here for you guys. I'm ready to play all that weekend, but I'm playing on the second for mine. That's cool. Right. Yeah, like Dom, if you're again, you're gonna play for your own, that's for sure. Make sure you share the link out. Shoot it out, or if you post it, put it in the story or whatever. Just make sure you tag us or Loading Snacks directly in it so we can reshare that link and get that out that you're playing this weekend. That's really dope. So thank you. Appreciate the support. Cuddy actually is taking some time off so he can jump in and help us. So, it's great to have some additional support coming from folks who have really, truthfully always been with us for this. So, really great to have that. Jokes, you got anything?
Other than that, now you hit the wrestling piece of it, so that'll be live tomorrow at 10 a.m., so stay tuned for that. But outside of that, that would be the biggest thing.
All right, listen. I greatly appreciate having had all of you here on this wonderful Tie Tuesday. Go Birds. In case you didn't know. It really does mean the world that you all are here with us right now when you could be and probably are doing other things. So thank you so much for hanging. Special shout out to the lurkers, all of the folks who are like Sam, who just jumped in. What's up, Sam? All of the folks who are here, who are watching, who are listening, paying attention, but maybe don't comment or something like that. We appreciate you too. It still matters that you're here. And so thank you for hanging out with us. Jokes, tell the people what I need them to know.
Remember, y'all, just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea.
With that, we're out. Toodles and lose.
loading snacks.